Welcome to the Navratri special episode of the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is From Courtrooms to Boardrooms, the journey of Zameer Nathani. When law meets leadership, the impact goes far beyond contracts and compliance. Zameer Nathani is Global General Counsel of DNEG Group, board member, Harvard Business School alumni, who embodies that rare balance of legal acumen and visionary leadership. With over 23 years of experience spanning industries like technology, retail, media, automotive, he has not only advised top corporations but also shaped their long-term strategies. In this conversation today, we explore Zameer's journey from his days as a young lawyer in Mumbai to becoming a global leader, steering strategy, governance, and transformation. And we also come to know Zameer as a person. So welcome Zameer to today's Navaratri special episode.
Thank you.
So let me explain you, Zameer, there will be 3 rounds, professional, personal, and a surprise rapid fire round where you'll be the hot seat like you had coffee with Karan, and you're getting 2 books gifts. Legal AI 101, and I've written a book on Durga's digital power. So you're getting 2 books.
Wow, wonderful.
Which have been autographed, but you have to be fun, witty, and quick, and you'll get it.
Yes.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. So, my first question, Zameer, how has the journey shaped up, and what were the key defining moments you had?
I think for me, right from the beginning of my career, we started as an entrepreneur. So we had an internet company. Prior to that, we had a computer education business. Both businesses were super successful. But gradually, what we were seeing in the world is transformation and change. All right. Those companies which have never transformed, which have never changed, don't survive. And therefore, while we had this computer education business and we had this business of internet city, we also saw that internet connectivity is also getting into the homes, right? When we had our internet business, we had a tie-up with Videsh Sanchar Nigam, as we all know, VSNL. We had one of the fastest lines with us, which created a lot of customers for us, because that's the competitive advantage we had got in the field. Post that, my brother, once he went abroad, and I was more attracted to law. That was a defining moment where I started studying law. The next moment came in once I completed my law. One of my professor approached me saying that you should also complete your master's. And I made a statement to that professor who saw something in me which I could not see. And I told the professor that, after finishing the law, I am free for 25 hours, not 24 hours, because, when you're fresh law graduate, you're looking out for internship, you're looking out for a lot of opportunities, but that also takes time. My professor said, do masters immediately, because according to me, you will not find time. And believe me, if I had not done masters at that point of time, I did not had got the time to do it right now. Once I finished my masters, the defining line was where my father approached me and said that there is a business house where he can recommend my name for joining as a legal intern. And I remember that moment when I told my father, I have done law and I'll be doing my masters also. If I had to get contacts at that point of time to join any organization, then the professional education probably will not have value, and therefore I will slog, but I will find a job for myself. That statement was a bold statement. I took about 6 months. I was associated with a law firm. The law firm took approximately 6 months to hire me. I joined at a salary of 3,500 and an arrangement between the law firm managing partner and myself. We will test you for 6 months. You also observe us for 6 months. Fortunately, when I left the law firm, I served the maximum client in that particular law firm. I served companies like Eureka Forbes. I served companies like LG Electronics, who were well known for their mobile phones at that point of time. This is an era before iPhone. Uh, we had companies like Johnson and Johnson, etc., uh, who were the clients for taking advice. Even when Botox was launched in India by Allergan Pharmaceutical, we were one of the first advisors to them. Post that, my other defining moment was when I got an invitation from Reliance Group to join the organization and head the e-commerce, gaming, and their Netflix type big flicks business, right? So I started with gaming, and then gradually the responsibility was given to me for e-commerce as well as OTT platform. This is between 2006 and 2008, when the world was still starting on e-commerce, OTT platform, and gaming. That was a defining business because we laid down a lot of new policies during that time when tech was arriving in India. So most of the terms and conditions, privacy policy, cookie policy, copyright notice, these were all drafted by us originally. Uh, Post that, the another defining moment which I had got in life was Balaji Telefilms. Ekta Kapoor was very well known in the field. And at that point of time, we had movies like Dirty Picture, we had controversies of Jodha Akbar, etc. Once Upon a Time in Mumbai Dobara, or Kya Cool Hai Hum, which was like an adult comedy which was coming out. And you can understand the lawyer's job at that point of time when you have such movies which are coming up, right? So there were challenges, there were controversies, there were protests which were happening. For example, in Jodha Akbar, there was a protest and I had to stay back in Jaipur for a month to talk to Karni Sena, as we are all aware that, these protests were there. But one thing which mattered to me a lot was the integrity and ethics of my discussion with any party, which when you show them this particular aspect, they also come out all in for you and they provide you all the support. I think the next defining moment was the best moment where Raymond Limited, a 90-year-old company which is into the business of suits, invited me to join the organization. And one of the directors of my past companies brought this opportunity to me on the condition of confidentiality, because the impression was that there should not be a situation where the earlier company would say that you have bought the best man of our business to another company. I had a great tenure in that company. We had some controversial matters like Singhania family dispute between father and son, which was also hitting the headlines. The petitions of those documents were signed by me, and there was a lot of reporting in the news which was happening. But simultaneously, the business was also growing under the leadership of Gautam Singhania. Thereafter, my next moment of life was Kar Dekho. Amit Jain, who is very well known for being on Shark Tank also earlier. There were 3 portfolios for which I was chosen. Number 1 was to build a team heading not only legal but also secretarial compliances, ESG, etc., which was part of my portfolio, as well as government affairs. Second was to build corporate governance in the company because we were an IPO bound company. And third was to prepare ourselves for the IPO in terms of due diligence and prospectus. And presently, of course, I'm working associated with DNEG, which is a Hollywood production, animation, and VFX studio, well known for its Oscars award, which they are the recipient. I'm very happy to say that this is a global role with global mix of legal and business dynamics. So these were my defining moments of my career where I prospered, and from one lap to another lap, converting challenges into opportunity was the best part of my life.
Wow, beautiful. So let's dive deep in conversation with Zameer. Many general counsels focus narrowly on compliance. You have taken a more strategic seat at the table. How do you ensure legal is seen as a business enabler?
This lesson I learned for my initial days in Reliance itself. Because today, if you imagine yourself of holding a portfolio, for example, of legal, or for example, finance, or for example, marketing, sales, etc., or for example, information technology, right? Suppose you are told tomorrow that apart from this responsibility, you are also the CEO of the company who is supposed to get the business deal. How will you deal in that situation? And I remember my days in Reliance when we used to deal with JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley for funding. And we used to deal in quite high numbers of funding for the US entities. And the responsibility which my CEO would give it to me is that these are 3 business commercials which are pending. This is your minimum and this is your maximum threshold. And of course, the legal clauses you will negotiate. Those were the initial times which I got an opportunity to negotiate business as well as the legal side of it. And that basically trains you that the deal lies in the execution. It's not about holding your ground on legal, finance, compliance. If it is completely illegal, one can understand and say no. But then if things can be worked out in a legal manner, then you are a business head and a legal head or a finance head or a marketing head. And if you imagine this role and execute the deal, you have arrived in life. This is what I learned in my initial days. This is what I execute and practice every day. And I think that's the reason for the success I have.
Wow. So, Zameer, in an era of digital disruption, how do you see the role of in-house legal evolving in the next decade?
I think from a digital disruption point of view, artificial intelligence is presently in limelight. You catch any role today, right? For example, as of yesterday, when you ask ChatGPT to prepare a feasibility report of a property based in a very high profile place in Mumbai, ChatGPT gives you the result of a feasibility report which is to be submitted to the bank. All right. And I'm talking about numbers of 1,500 crores. Similarly, if you see the field of finance, today a lot of analysis can be done using AI. You can speak about legal and artificial intelligence. I can tell you there was a joint venture between Saudi Arabia company, big company, and Indian company. And I instructed the AI tool to prepare a 140 clause agreement, keeping in mind the jurisdiction of Saudi Arabia and India in mind. And I wrote down with a pen and paper 10 important clauses which I really want in those contracts, right? Because the law and courts are different in different jurisdictions. So I wanted insurance for all my directors, because if something goes wrong, I need to secure them with the penalty, etc. Number 2, I wanted indemnity clause to be also worded in certain words, right? Number 3, I wanted fair jurisdiction, because if there's a dispute between Saudi Arabia and India, I wanted Singapore jurisdiction to handle those matters, right? When the output came from the AI tool, the 140 clause agreement included everything which was expected by me. So that's the digital disruption we are talking about in today's age. Next is your marketing plan. You make any marketing budget, any marketing plan for any huge organizations today, whether it is FMCG or anything, go on digital disruption, go on artificial intelligence tool, you will get a marketing plan which is well designed and well defined, not only in terms of money, but also execution, including on social media, how much you should spend, what you should expect, etc. So there are a lot of analytical things which are available. I also evaluate, I'm an investor in United States stock market. I evaluate a lot of companies, and one day I put a digital disruption idea into artificial intelligence, that I have a portfolio of these number of companies and the portfolio is very big. Which of the companies will go bankrupt in next 5 years, right? And if the AI is able to answer the prospects of a company which is going to go bankrupt in future, I think there is a lot of digital disruption happening, not only legal, finance, marketing, but also throughout the world. Your artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Google Gemini are becoming really your partners by paying a small amount of subscription fee. That's the digital disruption we are talking today.
Wow. So let's build the conversation around AI. You recently attended a Harvard Business School session on AI for CEOs. What was your biggest aha moment from that experience?
So this session, because you are a Harvard Business School alumni, Harvard organizes a lot of sessions by professor and experts on a lot of subjects, right? Like for example, we also had one of the professors who conducted a Harvard case study on booking.com. And we realized that, when he distributed his book, his name is Professor Stephen Thomke. When he distributed the book, Experimentation, we found out that every color which is put on booking.com was based on the survey and research that what color will attract you, what font will attract you, and what kind of image will attract you. So that's the kind of experimentation which is going on. And we had now a session on artificial intelligence by Aditya Barlia, who's also an MBA from Harvard Business School and an expert in artificial intelligence, runs an organization, big organization on artificial intelligence, right? And he does this session all throughout the world. So from India, his next destination was about Mexico and then Dubai, etc. Now, this session was so intuitive that we started at about 8 o'clock in the morning and we stopped at about 7 p.m. We had small breaks in between because they had to give us a lot of fundamentals. They had to also make it very simple. It should look like copy paste, right? They also told us some fundamentals like 250 word prompts is an appropriate prompt for artificial intelligence. Shorter than that would not give you an expected results which you're looking out, or you will get a better result if you put in better prompts, right? So some hard work we can do, but we get good results. They gave us a lot of examples in terms of creating a call center in 45 minutes. Today, if you want to set up a call center, you require 100 or 200 staff members. You require manuals to study on what complaints will come and how will you address that. You require an office space. You require telephone services, internet services, etc. Right? So in 45 minutes, we created a call center feeding no information, just creating an application interface API, what you call, which is also created by artificial intelligence software. And this particular call center, when we asked a question on an issue for a product, would answer in Hindi, would answer in Punjabi, would answer in Bihari accent, would respond in Australian English, and would also respond in German language at the same moment. So that was the wonder we saw. Another example was creation of a music video, right? Today the problem is that your music video somehow looks to be copied, your voice can be copied. This particular tool, what we created using artificial intelligence, guaranteed that there is no infringement of intellectual property rights from any angle. And we created the song. That song was sung in Punjabi. That song was sung in multiple languages. All right. The lyrics also was created by artificial intelligence. We only gave the concept. That's the change of the world we are looking at by using artificial intelligence.
Wow. So I was going to ask you the conversation on these topics, but you came up. Thankful to that.
Yeah.
So, Zameer mentioned that we are only using about 5% of AI's true potential. What lies in the unexplored 95%?
So I gave you certain examples right now, and these are just two examples which I would say that 45 minutes and 45 minutes, right? 1.5 hours. So we were there for about 12 hours. The kind of differences what we saw in which is produced by artificial intelligence, the machine learning happening on its part, the kind of difference it will make. Be it any fundamental document. I give you another example. We created a bank feasibility report for a real estate company for 1,500 crore project, which was personal. But point is that this project report was created in about 5 minutes. All right. Ideally, you would engage a consultant. The consultant would study the property. They will ask you multiple queries. They will take multiple documents from you. We feeded everything in artificial intelligence and the report was created in about 5 minutes. So these are all dynamic examples of what I'm seeing. What I'm firmly believer of that, because we had businesses earlier during the tech times. I think technology is there for adoption. It's not a replacement technology. So we have a misconception in our mind that artificial intelligence will replace people. No amount of technology replaces people. It only enhances your efficiency, right? When we had internet, our efficiency increased. The email services came in. We did not have to rely on physical mode of communication. Today we have artificial intelligence which will give you a feasibility report in 5 minutes. A human professional expert can study that and can deliver the same at the earliest to the client, right? In this case, of course, it was a personal investment part of it. But point is that I got a presentation for the bank, which is now subject to negotiations on the reality which the bank wants to do a due diligence. So I think artificial intelligence in terms of bank feasibility report, in terms of the music we created, in terms of the lyrics we created, in terms of the call center we created. You can imagine the cost of running a call center is so expensive. There are millions of properties which are now engaged as a BPO or a call center. You're replacing that in 45 minutes, right? Now the point is that you have employees who are working in those organizations. But what technology says, if you want to be a future trained person, be an expert in writing prompts. So when you get a complaint from the customer and when you're sitting at the call center, you will feed in those prompts rightly into artificial intelligence and then you can respond to customers. It is only enhancing the efficiency of the process. It is not replacing you, because the human mind will be required to also add value to it. So technology will always come in on the new side of it. Human will also add value to it, and that increases your efficiency, speed, and professionalism of your service. Today, when you have all these apps which are available, these apps are making a difference to the physical store by doing things, making it simple so that you can order a food, making the delivery faster so that that efficiency of ecosystem is maintained, and also providing you better offer. That's what Amazon was built on, right? Giving you maximum choices, giving you the best price, and delivering you at the fastest available time. That's what technology makes a difference. We should encash it as a human value which is added.
Wow, beautiful.
That's my take.
So, Zameer, how do you see AI reshaping the role of CEOs and senior leaders in the next 5 years?
I think what CEOs and senior leaders will have to do is that they have to first embrace artificial intelligence as part of their life, right? So today, when I speak about an entrepreneur, I tell them artificial intelligence is your second sleeping partner in the business. Whether you want to make a financial statement, whether you want to make a legal agreement, whether you want to make a sales plan, whether you want to make a banking investment plan, whether you want to make a marketing plan, or whether you want to make a PR, public relations plan, artificial intelligence is your sleeping partner, comes at a very minimum subscription fee, right? For the CEOs of the company, it is equivalent to their sleeping partner who will help build the organization to the next level, right? I'll give you one small example. There's an organization in India which wanted to scale to a global level. They have a great product which is selling very well in India. But then suppose if you imagine a hair oil product in India will not work similarly in Spain, right? Now, what is the difference in that? Number one, you'll have to see where do you manufacture that. Number two, what will be the cost of that manufacturing? Number three, what the consumers in that particular jurisdiction will consume. While you may have a thick hair oil in India, as an example, the people in other jurisdiction would prefer a lighter version of it, right? So there's a product differentiation which is happening. Now these are the kinds of researches which are available. Another example which I can give you for the same company is that the same company had ingredients, right? When you buy a product, for example, hair serum or an hair oil, you have ingredients written on the backside of the bottle,
Yes.
right? Information was fed to the AI tool that I want to manufacture this product for Indian market. Okay. Age group was provided. Information was given that I want to sell this product in Dubai. Information was given that I want to sell this product in United States. Information was given to AI tool that I want to manufacture this product in European jurisdiction, right? What's the quantum of each ingredient I should use, right? For example, when you write for India and you have 10 ingredients, the AI tool will give you that use 5 ml of this, use 2 ml of this, use 10 ml of this, use 7 ml of this. It will give you a combination for the Indian market that this is the combination of the hair oil or hair serum will work for the female genre which you have provided for India. Similarly, the AI tool gave a different combination for Dubai, US and European market because it now understands the consumption pattern of these jurisdictions. The CEO of the company would have spent X amount of money on consulting firms to find out what is the product mix which I should offer for jurisdiction of India, Dubai, Europe and US, which is now readily available when you insert those proper prompts in AI tools within a friction of seconds, right?
Yeah.
And then you can have a test market and then go to market strategy and you can execute this project within 15 days or 30 days, whereas otherwise this would have taken 3 months to 6 months. That's the efficiency we are talking about. So every CEO who is adopting this, every leader who is adopting artificial intelligence is not only adding value to his particular position of bringing efficiency and excellence, but also making the process of success for his organization more faster in this process.
Agreed.
That's my take.
Agreed. Okay. Let's go to mediation arbitration now, coming to corporates. I saw your recent post on LinkedIn. Do you see corporates adopting mediation not just as a dispute resolution tool, but also as a relationship preserving mechanism for long-term business collaboration?
I think my practice has been for last more than 23 years to always resolve matters by mediation, right? I'm a very big proponent of trust. I'm a big proponent of relationship in business. I'm a big proponent of mediation, right? I'm always advising the promoters of the companies, CEOs of the companies, chairmen or owners of the companies or big industrialists, etc. We can always say no to doing business nicely, right? You can always make one statement in 3 styles, right? You can make a statement aggressively, you can make a statement moderately, and you can make a statement politely. I'm always a proponent of politeness. I can always say to the other party, sorry, we can maintain our relationship, but we can't do business together. In future, if opportunity arises, we will talk about it, right? Because that maintains the relationship. And this I always believe also for our competitions. I think mediation conveys this message to us. Because what mediation does is that mediation gives us a reality check, right? Sometimes when I was working for these big organizations, I was told to sue somebody for 100 crores, right? And what's the approach in mediation? Is the other party worth 100 crores, right? That's a reality check. Number two, what mediation also does is that it replaces ego with merits. Most of the time when we litigate with the parties, we are all on high for first 6 months of litigation, that we will sue you in court, we will see you in court, right? And I think when parties spent about 2 years in court, they realize that this is consuming a lot of productive time of their life, and whether it is really productive or unproductive in their life. Okay? Mediation basically replaces ego with merits. So one is a reality check. Number two is ego versus merit discussion. Number three, it's happening in a very calm mediation environment where relationships of the parties are maintained, right? And what's the difference between mediation and conciliation, which are, two dynamics of resolving dispute outside the court apart from arbitration? In mediation, parties sit across the table and say whether, we can compromise on these grounds. One party speaks to the other that I'm ready to come one step forward. The other party says, all right, I'm ready to come one step forward in the bridge where we are sitting there, right? What happens in conciliation when mediation is not working out? The mediator themselves starts giving an option. That party A, you have said option A, party B, you have said option B. I am suggesting option C, option D, option E. Can we look at that? So that's the difference between mediation and conciliation. In mediations, parties talk to each other for options. In conciliation, the mediator then starts giving them options outside the options they are thinking of. Okay? Most importantly, relationships are maintained. People have grudges in their mind, but I can tell you for sure that your experience of mediation and court of law, after some years, you will think about it, your experience of mediation and conciliation would be much better than having a cross war in the courts of law, making allegations of different natures between the parties. I think that's what mediation is making a difference. And your first attempt always should be mediation to save your time and productive part of your life, is my advice.
Beautiful. So, Zameer, you've been part of multiple boardrooms. What's the biggest misconception companies have about legal leaders?
I think this misconception is now dissolving. Number one of the issue what we always saw was that business leaders always saw legal, finance, compliance as very technical, which means, whenever a set of problem is put before you, the question and reply would be yes and no, right? So somebody says, I want to start a business in United States. Okay. In next 30 days, we will roll out our product. Bare minimum compliances can be done. We can have legal contracts signed with the employees. And, we should start selling our product in next 30 days and approach the relevant authorities for approval. All right. Now, obviously, the answer is that suppose you are a pharmaceutical company in India and you want to start a pharmaceutical business in United States, you will require approval of the Federal Drug Authority, FDA, in United States, right? Now, they have a turnaround time. While we may be interested in 15 days and 30 days, they may take about 30 days, 3 months or 6 months, depending upon the clinical veracity they want to do, the trial they want to conduct, because medicine A in India may not be suitable in the jurisdiction because of the different compositions or the human genes, right? Now, initially, the business leaders thought that, the response will be no. And this was because it was looked upon very technical, that, this guy is not very optimistic in life. And therefore, the finance guy will say, sorry, sir, there's a balance sheet, there's a profit and loss account, there is an investor. We can't be just putting our money in United States without a business plan. The legal guy will say, sir, it's subject to FDA approval. We need to also evaluate what laws are applicable to us. We need to talk to Reserve Bank of India, how much money we can send. They are all right in their way, but there was a psychology which was developed that, this is a technical way of saying no, right? I think now those legal leaders or financial leaders or other technical leaders, compliance, they've now changed. They've now taken an educated mode. They now make a presentation to the CEO that this is one of the fantastic idea of starting a business in United States. These are the approvals which are required. These are the timelines which normally are observed by the authorities, post which the business is good to go. I think the skill of presentation, the skill of optimism, and the skill of imagining you as the business head or the CEO of the company being asked this question, how would you present it to your management? Suppose you are the CEO of the company as well as you are the chief financial officer or the general counsel of the company or a chief compliance officer, and your board says, make us a presentation, we want to start a business in United States. How will you make a presentation on business as well as on the legal, finance and compliance side of it? I think once you understand that I need to execute something in a reasonable manner, in a reasonable time, and I have to work like a collaboration between the board and the company, that time you will realize that your optimal approach or your optimism of approaching things will show up on your face, and that's what the confidence it will give to the leadership, right? Today we have a lot of situations on regulatory which are happening, right? Today you have Reserve Bank of India, you have SEBI, which fine a lot of banks, etc. And we read in the newspapers, X company was fined 50 lakh rupees for non-compliance. What is your education to the management? One bad news can cost reputation of the company. And if you're a public listed company, your stock price will be hit left, right and center. The CEO of the company will be called upon by the investors and the board members. How can you be so negligent about things, right? So I think educating and optimally or being an optimistic in executing project and showing that reflection on your face has today now made a lot of difference to the business leaders. Today the CEO of the company thinks that this particular person who is an expert in legal, finance, compliance is my collaborative partner. They will execute the project in a reasonable manner, in a reasonable time, and in a manner which is beneficial for the company. I think that is the image change which has now happened, and that's what is meritorious for everyone in the industry to go together. Law is also important, business is also important, right? That's the rhythm.
Wow. So, Zameer, how important is cross-cultural experiences in shaping global business strategy, especially in legal leadership?
So I am into a global role, right, for many years, right from the days of Reliance, etc. During one of my tenure in a company, we were there in 165 countries, right? You're dealing with lawyers, you're dealing with business leaders in those particular jurisdiction, right? They have their own culture, they have their own diversity. Like for example, when you speak to a person in Japan, all right, when you're going into a joint venture in Japan, the Japanese will ask you a lot of business questions, but also ask you a lot of personal questions. Who are there in your family? What does your family do? What does your kid study, etc. They will ask you a lot of personal questions also in addition to the business questions, right? What are they looking at? And those meetings will go for about 2 hours to 4 hours. What are they looking at? they are looking at a joint venture which should last lifelong. They don't want to joint venture with a company which will survive for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and there are disputes between the parties. So they are trying to understand your culture, your value system, your ethics, your integrity, right? Now cut to, if you come to United States and if you're talking to a lawyer in a law firm and you're negotiating certain clauses, the negotiation happens in this way, that we are stuck on these 8 clauses, this is non-negotiable, all right? We have arrived on a business side of it, but these 8 clauses are non-negotiable. It's a 5 minutes call to say yes and no. If you say no, we go our way, you go our way, your way, right? Now that's the difference in the culture which you see. So a Japanese guy will sit with you for 2 hours to 4 hours to understand your value system, ethics, integrity, etc. But while you're negotiating with a company in the United States, it's pure business, right? We are here to have collaboration. We are here to have profits together. We are here to have lethal negotiations of what percentage of shares you are holding. And we are here purely for business purposes, right? We can meet outside for having lunch, dinner, or golf together. But when we talk about business, it's business, right? So that's the diversity of culture where you find cross culture in different jurisdictions. And that's the learning which you gradually have with your experiences which are coming in, right? For example, when you're dealing in jurisdiction also like China, etc. Okay. So that's my experience on cross culture. Once you are experienced on that, it's very easy to handle business affairs and negotiations on those sides.
Wow. So what's a leadership lesson from your Harvard days that you still apply daily?
Harvard teaches you a lot of fundamentals, value system, integrity, honesty is at core. But the 5 important principles which is hammered upon you during your days at Harvard, I have gone there thrice now, are these 5 fundamentals, right? Number 1 is your leadership. You're a leader of an organization, irrespective of a designation. You are leading from the front. You are holding back for your employees. You are holding back for your team members. Number 2 is strategy. In your personal life, or it is your professional life, or it's a professional negotiation or any deal closure, you need to have a strategy in place. You need to have a strategy what you will give up, what you will not give in. All right? You need to have a strategy what will be your cross bargain if somebody has a list of expectations. Right? So number 1 is your leadership. Number 2 is strategy. Number 3 is culture. You are here running a business for next 40 years, 50 years, 100 years. What's the culture you want to build in? You want to build a culture of value. You want to build a culture of integrity. You want to build a culture of ethics. You want to build a culture of honesty. That culture makes companies survive, right? We have examples of companies like Tata's. They don't compromise on the culture part of it. There are shortcuts available for certain companies, but we have also seen such companies in a lot of newspapers going on a different direction or changing jurisdictions of their living because the short-term mechanisms did not work. If you want to build a long-term company, the culture has to be upheld. Number 4 is operational efficiency. Operational efficiency will mean how can you improve your processes, right? Now, if you have administrative and professional capacity, how can you use software for leasing out your administrative work, right? For example, we maintain a lot of database. Now, previously those databases were maintained in Excel sheet. Today you have a software which is by default maintaining. The moment you make a payment, the moment you get an invoice for a company, it's already feeded in a software like Oracle, SAP, etc. Right? So technology is making administrative work lighter so that you can spend more time on productive professional work. Okay. But it has also increased your operational efficiency, because every entry, every book which you maintain and which you updated for months together now happens in half an hour, right? So it's operational efficiency. So number 1 is leadership, number 2 is strategy, number 3 is culture, number 4 is operational efficiency. How incrementally you can improve your processes or your professional approach. Number 5, most important, is execution. If you don't execute projects, then all of the leadership, strategy, culture, operational efficiency is just affecting your execution, right? Because you plan for activity, you plan for investment, you plan for an IPO. But if you don't execute, it's a failure of the leadership, right? So anything which you don't execute, you will be judged by that, right? So execution is the most important thing. You may plan, you may ponder for a while, but if you don't execute, you will not be recognized as a great leader. So these 5 fundamentals one has to keep in mind. One is leadership from the front, one is strategy, second is your strategy, third is culture, fourth is operational efficiency, fifth is execution. Again, I'm repeating that because this has fundamentally helped me. Number 1 is your leadership. Number 2 is strategy. Number 3 is culture, culture of ethics, integrity. Number 4 is operational efficiency. And number 5 is execution. That's the mantra of success which everyone should use it.
Wow. So my last question for your professional journey round, Zameer, what advice would you give to young legal professionals to prepare for leadership roles?
So number 1, you have to become bold, right? Because the world is demanding. The world will always give you a cross view. Now, when you become bold, the boldness is expressed in terms of what is legal and illegal, right? If something is completely legal but unethical, and this is one of the things we are taught in Harvard Business School. We have case studies where things are legal, but they are also unethical. Whether you would do it or not do it, all right? The answer is you will not do it, all right? So, when you become a bold leader, you are expected to express what is legal and illegal, what is ethical and unethical, right? For example, today, if I defraud a person for signing a legal contract of a property which is worth 10 lakh, and I make that person sign a 10 crore amount by adding one more zero to it, the document is completely legal because that person has signed up, right? But ethically, we are completely wrong because we have defrauded that person. Will you try to imbibe that culture in your organization and yourself? I can guarantee you 6 months, 6 years, 16 years, 25 years, you will go down the lane on the wrong side of it. All right? You have numerous examples in the news today where you have certain companies and promoters in India, you have certain companies and promoters who have left India, right? They would have applied right approach of taking a bank loan, but we all knew that what they had mortgaged, the valuation of that mortgage was very unethical. The value of that was not appropriate. So today or tomorrow you will go down the lane. So number 1 quality expected out of you is to be a bold leader. Number 2, maintain the sanctity of your culture. You will never compromise with your ethics, integrity and honesty. During my career, there have been several occasions where I have been approached, specifically in certain companies, with a statement saying that, we should give a go-ahead to this project. We may not be here in next 2 years. I have ensured those projects don't get cleared and they are highlighted to the auditors, right? Number 3, when you maintain your boldness and culture, what you will find distinction is that you will be recognized as a great leader in the organization. People can see great leaders in an organization. 23 years, I get numerous emails, I get numerous WhatsApps, I get numerous messages on LinkedIn from people I don't know who have heard this or who have worked with me in past organizations, and they have always come to me and said that what we always knew is that when you are in the picture, we will not do anything illegal, we will not do anything unethical, but we will also ensure that we give full business, right? I can give you one of the best examples. In my past companies, we were approached by a financial institution, and the financial institution was getting a security which was really not the worth the valuation report, right? The point is that I've got a valuer report. I would raise 1,500 crores or 2,000 crores. I would place that valuation report before the bank. The bank also would trust that valuation report and would release the funds. The valuation report was not right. All right. So the transaction was legal, but the valuation report was not correct. We were dealing with public listed banks, public banks. Anything which goes wrong would turn out to be an inquiry by CBI or by Enforcement Directorate where foreign transactions were concerned, right? Any one small complaint could trigger that and we would have a problem. And believe me, fortunately, we did not do those transactions, but I've seen the same company facing a lot of CBI investigation by virtue of such transactions, right? And therefore, I say whether it is 6 months or 16 years, one day the truth comes out in open. And we don't want our reputation to be at stake that we did not act with the right leadership, we did not act with right integrity. So be a bold leader. Where you find something illegal, be very bold enough to say that this is illegal. Maintain your culture value of not doing anything unethical. Maintain your honesty and integrity. Success will come to you. You will feel whether you are dislodging yourself by not agreeing with your COs on anything of that nature. I can guarantee you success will lie with a red carpet for you. That's my take.
Wow. So let's go to the next round and understand Zameer as a person. Tell us about your family and formative years. Briefly, you covered in the initial section, but let's hear more.
So I think maximum credit I would give it to my parents. I was close to my mother, and my mother had a treatment for 5 years in Lilavati Hospital. She was unwell, and that was one of the toughest time of my life in terms of my time. So I was also a professor in National College, the Law College. I was also a professor in Hinduja College. And I would deliver those lectures at about 7 o'clock in the morning. 9 a.m. I would reach my law firm. I would work in my law firm usually up to 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. We had good sets of clients like Eureka Forbes, LG Electronics, Johnson & Johnson, or you see this Wokhard Hospital today in Bombay Central also, opposite station. The land clearance had come to us. Botox when they launched in India. So we had got a huge amount of work. Johnson Diversity. So when you find that Tusky machine on the airport cleaning, that particular Johnson Diversity company, when they came into India, we were their advisors. And then of course Reliance also was the same schedule. till 10, 11 a.m. I would be there. But of course, this was during my law firm days. I would finish at about 10 or 11 o'clock. My mother would have dialysis at about 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. in Leelavati Hospital. Our house was close by. 1 p.m., 1 a.m., we would reach home. I would have my dinner at about 1:30 a.m., sleep at about 2 a.m., and I would get up by 4:30 a.m. All right. I think I did this exercise for more than about 3-4 years, 2.5 hours of sleep, and therefore the short of time. Our profession is more about your brain working at full speed. I think the only difference which I found is that tough situations make you more adaptive and tough, right? I can tell you, from teaching to practicing law to being at the hospital to sleeping for 2.5 hours, I adopted myself so well that I could not even feel an inch about it, a difference to my bargaining power or negotiations in any of the transactions. So what's the conclusion? It's what you believe and what you believe in your brain. If you believe that you can do it, then I think that really matters. And 3-4 years is a very long time. It's not a short time. So I think I believe myself that, this is what I have in my hand. Let's fight it. And I was quite positive and energetic in doing that. All right. But of course, end of the day, you'll have to take care of your health. So longer time one should avoid. But tough situation demanded tough requirements. And I was up for it.
Yeah. So, Zameer, which is that hobby or interest which helps you to unwind and recharge?
The first of all is my family. So I have a cute daughter, my wife. They are constantly, because of the several events and engagements I have, as well as my busy schedule. I think the one part of the hobby is our engagement on intellectual discussions with my wife especially and my daughter, where there are intellectual discussions regarding book reading or math or general knowledge, the kind of culture, the kind of development one should see for futuristic in next 5 years, where your education curriculum is growing and what would be the next world of artificial intelligence. I think that's a good hobby which I have in-house. Apart that, my hobby is about golf, which I really like it. And the other hobby which I really love is reading books. There are some great books on leadership, management, etc. And also Intelligent Investment or Intelligent Investor, which is a book written by Benjamin. This book is the only book which Warren Buffett has read that, and then he started his investment business. It teaches you fundamentals of business. I think these are the kinds of book which really attract me. The hobby is that even if you can read 5 pages a day, 2 pages a day, 10 pages a day, 20 pages a day, or 1 page a day, start that habit. It will really make a difference to your personality and professionally and personally. So those are my hobbies and I cherish that. Wow. Apart that, there's none.
So if your friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would it be?
So for me, 3 words would be, number 1, I always am looked upon as a strategic person. Even if you see my personal life in terms of education, I've designed my education in a certain way, in a strategic way. If you see my career throughout the different industries I've worked, it's very strategic. Whenever I take any approach in the businesses also, it's very strategic. So the first quality is strategic. Number 2, uncompromising ethics. Unethical behavior, dishonesty, a person not showing integrity in their approach is what I find that one should not be associated for long term, right? So the second quality, and this came in the Harvard survey. So when you go to the Harvard, and when I went for advanced management program, which is the Harvard's highest management program, where you had alumni like Mr. Ratan Tata, CEOs of MasterCard, etc. They also do a 360-degree survey of yours. And I did that survey with all the 4 CEOs I've worked in my career, right? Because I wanted to know what they feel about me when I practice all these. And fortunately, in the survey, the first thing which all the CEOs wrote was that this is the most important aspect of mine is ethics.
Wow.
If somebody does not speak on ethics, for me, it's a turnaround. I would not like to do business with that person, because if that person speaks about any unethical thing with any third party, tomorrow it may be you, and there is no guarantee of character of that person. My third aspect, and which also came out in the Harvard survey, is relationship. So all the CEOs of the company said that he would be more interested in building relationship with the party than a bare crude negotiation, you know. So I think relationship makes a lot of difference, and I saw those differences. We were negotiating a contract with a CEO of a company. We were buying out that company, and there are certain clauses which a big law firm said to the CEO of the company, who was also the founder, don't sign this particular clauses, because that's not in your interest. They're buying out your company and they will control you, right? And the relationship with the CEO of that company and founder was so strong that I made a statement to him that, number one, I'm asking you to sign this because if I was there in your position, I would have signed it. Number one. Number two, this is a bare minimum responsibility which we would expect from you, because we are buying out your company. We are also expecting that when we are hiring you as a CEO, you have certain responsibilities to cater to. According to me, this is very ethical to sign it. And if I have suggested to you to sign it, which means that I would have signed it. If I would have not signed it, I would have told you on the face of it not to sign it. And he signed the contract left, right, and center verbatim. So I think that relationship really matters. So number one, 3 words to describe to me is strategic. Number 2 is ethics. And number 3 is relationship built on trust.
Wow.
That's about me.
Beautiful. So Zameer, in the past, you have been part of community initiatives for conciliation, arbitration, and mediation. How was the experience then?
I think our community mediation forum, conciliation and arbitration forum we have, is one of the best professional forum I've seen. And just for the audience, the curriculum under which the mediators who are working in our community, they are trained by one of the renowned institutions. The curriculum of that particular mediation is designed by one of the renowned mediation organization in London. So you can imagine that the mediation process which has been taken place is done by trained mediators with a curriculum which is approved at the highest level and designed by one of the renowned institutions, mediation institutions in London. All right. Second, the approach of mediation in the community is so well established, whether it relates to all the personal disputes, whether it is divorce, property, relationship issues, issues of sharing when there is a death in the family, etc., etc. I think the process has been very streamlined throughout the years, because we have now professionals working in those mediation, community mediation services, right? My take is that, number one, I find community mediation organization very professional.
Yes.
Number 2, the mediators are highly qualified and trained.
Yes.
Number 3, I see a lot of resolutions which are coming out of mediation, conciliation, if not through arbitration. And I think that should be the first forum before anybody thinks about going to the court. That's my take on the community mediation.
Yeah. So we both are from the same community. So this Zameer is referring to the Ismaili Community Ka Conciliation Arbitration Board, which we have all over the world. Like in India, there will be NCAB, There is an international arbitration
Yes.
conciliation board. So
Yes.
touch wood, the process step which he has
Yes.
shared.
Yes.
I have also witnessed and been part of the community volunteering and training initiatives. So my last two questions are reflective ones. What legacy would like to leave behind?
The legacy which I would like to leave behind is, number one, people always recognize you as one of the best leaders, right? Today, when you speak about Mr. Ratan Tata, late Mr. Ratan Tata, what's the ability you recognize with him? Number one of the great leaders, right? You have many industries, many companies operating in India and abroad. But today, when we studied at Harvard, and one of the highest courses of Harvard, what we did in management, where Mr. Ratan Tata himself was one of the students of that, the building in which we study is known as Tata Building, right? Because Tata has built that building. So, what's the legacy you remember of Mr. Ratan Tata? One of the great leaders. Number two, uncompromising ethics. You will always see that Tata will never compromise on ethics, they will never compromise on honesty, they will never compromise on integrity. I have several examples to cite, all right? In fact, one of my motivations for doing this Harvard management program also comes from a personal letter written and signed by Mr. Ratan Tata to me, right? So he's been one of my mentor. Number three, what you always find in legacy is that have you helped generations to prosper, right? Yes. So in our community also we have preachings that we should build for generations, right? Yes. So these are three legacies which I would look at. Number one, you are recognized as a great leader. Number two, you will never compromise with your ethics, honesty, and integrity. And number three, you will build for generations so that people remember you, that you have not only contributed for the past and present, but you have also left contributions for the future. That's the legacy which I would like to build for myself.
Wow. So I'll make you emotional. What message would you like to give for your daughter?
For my daughter, at the moment, what we are doing is we are researching and planning on what are the educational aspects for her in next 5 years and 10 years, which look prospective for the new generations which are coming forward. All right. Like for example, math is one of the fundamentals, is what has been found at the initial stage of your education career when you are at school, etc. Number two is computer science when you are gaining your higher qualifications. By computer science, we mean artificial intelligence, we mean machine learning, we mean blockchain, we mean crypto, we mean new technologies which are evolving legally, right? Number three is your management education. So we have preachings, we have a lot of advices that you may have a technical qualification, like you are a lawyer, you are a doctor, you are a financial expert, but management lessons, MBA, will teach you about management skills. All right. So at the present level with my daughter, I'm engaged with her age on maths. I'm engaged with her age on artificial intelligence. She made a AI app on Japanese food while her presentation in her school. And I'm engaged with her on management, managing affairs, understanding the financial part of it, etc. Whatever small contribution I can do to her learning. The second thing which I would always like to promote, and this is what the kids have, and gradually as we grow, we try forgetting the principles, is the culture what we are giving them. We need to build the value system right at the beginning, right? So when you build the value system of your integrity, honesty, and ethics right at the beginning. I think that's the lesson which is always learned. And the third part, which I always discuss with her and she also practices, is meditation and attending to your daily prayers or attending to your worship. I think these aspects really make a difference to you. So one is your worldly matters, second is your culture part of it, and third is your spiritual part of it. A combination of these three is what I preach and practice with my daughter, and I think that will make a difference to her life.
Beautiful. So my last one is googly one. Describe Zameer in one word.
If you want me to describe myself in one word, what I can say is that you can tell me as one of the leaders who will always look out or being looked upon as a role model. This is what the feedback I get real time from all the people. And I think so, if people call me a role model, I would like to be recognized as a role model, and I would like to preach and practice as a role model, so that, that's the legacy we are looking at for lifetime.
Yes. Okay, so let's put in the hot seat, the rapid fire round, your go-to comfort food.
Go to comfort food, I'm a very simple eater. So for me, dal, rice, roti is also okay. For me, any other food is also okay. But more of a simplistic food is more convenient to me. I'm more passionate about home food than outside food.
Wow. Your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue. As you can see, my suit is also blue.
Yes. Okay. Morning routine or night owl hustle?
So I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I go for meditation till 5:30. 6 o'clock I am back. 6:30 I have my breakfast. And then usually there is some reading which happens. Then I'm to the office by 10 or 10:30 or 11. And then throughout the day, I'm engaged with the work. I pack up usually at about 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come home, have my dinner, do a small reading and sleep, and again back at 4:30 in the morning. I think we should use our time more productively. Most important advice which I would like to give everyone is that if you see big leaders, big CEOs, some great leaders, they have their routine set for their productive time. Number two, they've also decided in their life what to do and what not to do. The day you figure out what not to do will make a lot of difference to you. So you have to decide that between 20 things which fall under your head, what are the 4 things you are going to do and what are the other 16 things which you are going to outsource to your team and others, right? That's fundamental for leaders, because otherwise you will not be able to cope up with your productivity.
Wow. Your favorite Ismaili cuisine?
I would always like butter chicken, so probably that would be the great choice.
Last one. Tea or coffee to recharge?
As I said, I'm a simple living guy. So in the morning, my routine is that I have a hot water with haldi, tulsi, neem, lemon, ginger, and honey in hot water.
Wow.
I think that's my routine. Otherwise, it's a normal half cup of tea once or twice in a day. Otherwise, if you can avoid.
Less is toast.
Yeah.
Well, and here's your gift as promised.
Thank
did
you.
Well. You're getting 2 books.
Thank you.
So as we wrap up, behind every legal brief and boardroom strategy lies a person driven by values, vision, and resilience. Zameer's journey is a testament to how lawyers can shape more than just contracts. They can shape cultures, companies, and even industries. as he continues to bridge the worlds of law, leadership, and innovation. His story inspires emerging professionals to dream bigger, aim higher, and never settle for being just part of the system when they can redefine it. So, like that, there are 500 plus coffee speakers at the Coffee Conversation Show. Subscribe, implement in your life where they're sharing their professional, personal journeys, and we meet with another speaker or a cup of coffee. Take care. Thank you.